Hey there, guys. So if you guys saw my last review on the Sonoma Brewing Company's white chocolate, you probably got some foreboding that I was thinking about uh, blending the beer because I was like disappointed that I hadn't, and I just realized that I had Southern Tier's 2X Stout, which is their milk stout. Um, yeah, so I had it in the fridge. I was like, oh no, why not just blend that beer? So yeah, I never actually had the beer before, so I was gonna review the beer by itself. So yeah, let's do a bit of this and then do the beer blending. So yeah, beer comes in a nice sort of again black color, barely a bit of brown coming through in the light, a nice kind of light kind of brown head on that. So yeah, let's get it on this. This is a very aromatically challenged beer. I don't get really anything, maybe some like metallic or some sort of lactose kind of thing. But yeah, not really getting much. Let's get a flavor on this. Okay. Yeah. You're getting a lot of sort of like roasted kind of malt, almost like a burnt toast in the front. A bit of like sort of like lightly roasted black coffee, watered down black coffee. On the finish, you're getting a good amount of like aggressively earthy and herbal kind of hops to really bitter the beer out. It's pretty decent. Um, Not really cohesive for me. Sort of like has a bit of it's a bit lacking in flavor. Not really quite roasty enough. It's some bitterness. It's yeah. What ABV is this, by the way? This is 7.5. 7.5 ABV. Yeah, I think I could imagine a beer having a bit more flavor than that. There's just a bit lacking on the flavor. So yeah, I'm gonna pour. So I'm gonna blend these beers, by the way. So I'm gonna pour in about. I'd say it's probably an ounce or two of the Southern Tier, and then try to even it out with some of the Sonoma. So yeah, a little bit more. Oops, a little bit of mess. We'll clean that up later. So yeah, let's dig into this beer. We have a blend of a white chocolate wheat ale and a 2X milk stout from Southern Tier. So yeah, let's get it on this. Again, the 2X stat is sort of just like dragging down at the aroma. You're not getting too much of the white chocolate, but yeah, you're getting mostly white chocolate. Mostly like a bready, malty white chocolate. Again, this beer really just like holds back the beer on aroma. So yeah, that's better. Wow, that's a lot better. That's delicious, actually. That is quite good. What happens here is that, again, when you have a beer that is going to be somewhat mediocre or doesn't really complete things for you, that's when you should look for blending. And you should look for reasons why you should blend beers. I thought a stout with a roasted malt would work perfectly with this. And I think actually this is not a perfect beer. I think a bigger, more robust stout would be better. But this actually works out quite well. What you have in the front is sort of this wonderful just maltiness. The wheat plays around with that malt in the 2X stout. The lactose gives some milky kind of qualities, and that works with the wheat quite well. It works with the white chocolate quite well. The bitterness is definitely cut off. This had aggressive bitterness that really didn't make any sense because it didn't have any big chocolate or robust flavors to back it up with. It didn't have big flavors in the front and the middle to sort of counteract, or any sweetness to really counteract that earthy hops in the finish. And then this beer has that wheat character and that sweet syrupy chocolate to sort of play off those hops on the back. These two beers combined, they make an actually fantastic beer that I think is much better than these two. Definitely not one of my favorite blends I've ever done, but definitely a more complete beer, and a beer that I definitely will enjoy drinking much more so than these two beers done so individually. So yeah, this was a really interesting experiment. So yeah, until next time, guys, definitely check this kind of stuff out. Do it yourselves. I mean, if you guys find a beer that you just sit down and crack open, and you're like, this is not really for me. And there's reasons why. Look for reasons why. What's lacking? Is there aroma lacking? Is there bitterness lacking? Is there too much sweetness? Look for things that are lacking, and then think about how you compare them or contrast them. This to me is sort of like a contrasting. This beer is a bit one-dimensional. This beer is a bit lacking. So what with the one-dimensional sort of like was complementing this as a contrast between the bitterness and that weedy, sweet white chocolate. That's generally where I find the best kind of beer blends. Sort of when you have something that is a bit bitter, a bit sweet, combine those two. That's where I generally find my combination do well. But definitely experiment. You can't know what's good until you experiment. I definitely don't see it too much in the craft beer community that people do that. I mean, in the end, I would have been stuck with a couple, in my mind, good but somewhat mediocre beers. Instead, I have actually quite delicious beer here. So until next time, guys, this is another Beer Blends. Later.